Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are unpacking a truly fascinating structural blueprint for learning complex topics. We're drawing our inspiration directly from a piece by Irene Opanachi, who shared her journey of, finally mastering Python programming. And let's be honest here, trying to learn a new coding language usually involves a lot of staring blankly at a screen, kind of questioning your life choices, and definitely drinking way too much coffee. But what makes her approach so absolutely brilliant is that she didn't just passively consume information. No, she used AI to construct a step-by-step learning architecture. So today, we're going to break down her exact method so you can use it to conquer literally whatever complex subject you're currently battling.
Okay, let's dive straight into this roadmap. Today we're covering 1. The coding struggle. 2. Mapping the chaos. 3. Making your notebooks talk. 4. Smart debugging. 5. Avoiding AI scope creep. And finally, 6. Generate your own overview. This step-by-step structure is going to completely transform your learning process.
Section 1. The coding struggle. We really have to start with the universal frustration of learning a rigid system like code. Irene frames this struggle through her neurodivergent experience, which is just incredibly relatable. She explains that her brain tends to do one of two things. It either overanalyzes concepts to the point of total exhaustion, or it just shuts them out entirely if they aren't broken down slowly and carefully. Learning something complex requires a steady, structured ramp-up, not a vertical climb.
As Irene perfectly captures it, one misplaced colon or bracket will cause the entire program not to run. Right? When you're already fighting to retain new, difficult information, losing precious time to a tiny syntax error is just beyond overwhelming. You aren't just battling the concepts anymore, you're battling the punctuation. It is a total recipe for burnout.
Section 2. Mapping the chaos. When Irene was trying to learn Python, she wasn't starting with one clean, perfectly formatted textbook. She had a chaotic, nonlinear mix of materials. We're talking multiple ebooks, loose YouTube videos, and personal notes from previous failed attempts. The problem wasn't a lack of information, it was a lack of a logical, structured sequence. Because without a sequence, you just don't know what you don't know.
To fix this chaos, NotebookLM acts as an organizing funnel through a three-step process. First, upload all those diverse, disconnected sources, the ebooks, the notes, the whole shebang. Second, prompt the AI to create a structured learning map. And third, and this is absolutely crucial, identify dependencies. This means taking nonlinear tutorials and organizing them so you know exactly which foundational concepts you absolutely must grasp before moving on to the advanced stuff.
Now, what's really interesting here is the actual prompt Irene used. She didn't just ask for a basic outline. She specifically asked the AI, for each advanced topic, specify which foundational concepts it depends on and highlight any assumptions that aren't explicitly explained. That right there is how you turn a pile of random ebooks into a customized, structured entry point.
Section 3. Making your notebooks talk. Once you have your map, you enter the active learning phase, bringing what were essentially dead, static text files to life in the studio. Because, let's be real, just reading a textbook doesn't mean you've actually learned a single thing.
This brings up a massive difference between memorizing code and actually knowing code. See, Irene could memorize exactly how to type out a for loop for a standard list, but the second the data structure changed from a list to a dictionary, the memorized pattern completely failed her. She didn't understand the underlying iteration, so she couldn't adapt. True comprehension only comes through repeated, active exposure.
To get that active exposure, she leaned heavily on the studio tools. She used interactive flashcards and weak spot revealing quizzes after every single major topic. If she couldn't answer the quiz, well, she knew she had to go back to the source. She also heavily utilized the podcast-style audio overviews. In fact, she noted that she only truly understood why commas apply to text and not numbers by engaging with the audio overview and actually hearing it discussed out loud. It simulates a human conversation where you can just jump in and be an active participant.
Section 4. Smart debugging and feedback. Moving from theory to practice, Irene didn't just study, she built things. Specifically, a melanin match makeup app, which was a practical exercise using tools like NumPy and OpenCV to find the right makeup shade for darker skin. And naturally, as a beginner, you're gonna break things, probably a lot of things.
When things broke, she used a very specific strategy. For example, she faced a scenario where a color key might be accidentally removed from a nested dictionary. Instead of just pasting her broken code into an AI and saying, "Hey, fix this for me," she asked the AI to trace the execution flow. You want the tool to explain the logic of the error, right? Not just blindly hand you a patch that you don't even understand.
Look at NotebookLM's grounded explanation to that specific question. It explained that Python expects that exact key to exist using bracket notation, and if it doesn't, the script crashes and outputs a key error pointing to the missing key. It teaches you the why behind the error based strictly on Python's rules rather than just hallucinating a block of code to bypass the problem. It forces you to remain the engineer in the driver's seat.
So, when you hit a wall, use this exact prompt. Trace the execution flow and explain exactly what this function returns in different scenarios. If it could return none or raise an error, explain why based on Python's behavior. This guarantees you actually build a real understanding of core behaviors instead of just copy-pasting your way to a working but super fragile application.
Section 5. Avoiding AI scope creep. While AI is a powerful assistant, it absolutely requires strict guardrails. Curiosity is healthy, sure, but if left unchecked by your foundational plan, it can easily derail your progress and leave you completely overwhelmed.
There's a really key difference between learning with NotebookLM versus a general chatbot like Gemini. NotebookLM strictly processes what you feed it, keeping you on track. It even provides colored, numbered reference markers linked directly to your sources. Gemini, on the other hand, tries to be helpful by offering unprompted creative enhancements that introduce massive scope creep and instantly disorganize your progress.
For example, let's say you get overly ambitious and jump ahead, asking the AI how to build REST APIs with Flask. If Flask isn't in your foundational uploaded sources, NotebookLM won't just make things up to appease you. It will rightfully answer the query while emphasizing that your source materials do not sufficiently cover this topic, explicitly telling you that you need to do more fundamental research first. It keeps you honest for sure.
Section 6. Generate your own overview. So the crucial point here is that we can apply this exact methodology to basically anything. According to the source, the ultimate hack is to review your resources and prompt the AI to make a YouTube long video structure, and then use that to generate a comprehensive audio overview. Here is the master key. Take all your messy sources, upload them, and use this exact two-step prompt. Review these uploaded sources and create a detailed long-form YouTube video structure and script outline. Then, generate an audio overview. By asking it to format the learning map as a long-form YouTube video structure, you literally force the AI to build a compelling narrative arc out of your raw materials. Once that outline is set, generating the audio overview gives you a custom, podcast-style discussion of your exact syllabus to listen to while you commute. It's a real game changer. You have the exact prompt, you know how to build the map, and you know how to avoid the dreaded scope creep. You have the ultimate blueprint for structural learning. So the only question left for you is, what complex topic will you conquer first? Start gathering your chaotic sources today, funnel them into a clear structure, and take control of your learning. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and happy learning.